Are you guys ready? Because here comes the slant. Welcome to another hot episode of The Slant. I'm your host, Stephanie Bay, and with me this week is my stellar co-host, the one and only Christine Astle. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Stephanie. Glad to be here hosting The Slant. I'm excited. Let's get this started already.
Alrighty, let's roll. In this week's episode, we follow AC as he meets with a group who's going for gold when it comes to bringing the Olympics to Chicago. Then we'll meet with the boys from the Secret Identities. We'll get our groove on over at Dragonfly on Saturday in the night shift. Christine gets up close and personal with the very funny comedian Joe Coy. And later, we'll bring it all home with a high-energy performance from Chris Racer. I know a certain someone who can't wait for the Joe Coy interview.
Hey, now let's not jump ahead. And by the way, I called dibs on him first. Just kidding. Anyway, the air's getting warmer and the days are getting longer, which can only mean one thing. That's right, kids. Summer is almost here. And speaking of summer, Chicago is still in the running for the 2016 Summer Olympic and Paralympic Games. And one group here in Chicago has pledged their support to help bring the games to this amazing city. Let's check out Asians for Chicago 2016 in this week's Affiliation Effect.
There are plenty of positive vibes for Chicago with their 2016 Olympic bid as the International Olympic Committee visited the city and its potential sites for the 2016 Summer Games. Asians for Chicago 2016, a local community organization, is pushing for the Asians of Chicago to, of course, back the bid.
The Asians for Chicago 2016 supports the City of Chicago and Chicago 2016 as they compete for the privilege to host the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games.
Yin Kian, chair of the organization, explains that Asians for Chicago 2016 is one way to bring the Asian community together.
It started with, first of all, getting a feedback from everyone. Are we interested and how will it help us in the city? So there was an overwhelming support because everyone saw the benefits of how it will benefit the growth of the city and our businesses.
Mayor Daley speaks highly of our diverse communities and emphasizes that the immigrants who come here are key to making Chicago a global city.
The concept of having people from around the world to come to the United States of America, yes, and meet their brothers and sisters right here in Chicago and throughout the country to come together and welcome them to the United States of America. That is extremely important in this day and age because immigrants is truly the foundation of America.
Getting the Olympic bid, the mayor says, does not depend on politics, but rather on people participating and representing their country proudly.
And what we see is the Olympic and Paralympic movements. We set aside politics. It doesn't matter liberals, conservatives, Democrats, or Republicans. It doesn't matter. The Olympic and Paralympic movement have nothing to do with politicians, but it has to do with people, younger people, who want to succeed in representing their country.
Keith McCormick, the director of cultural programs at the Chicago Children's Museum, backed Chicago's bid because the Olympics would bring in so much culture and diversity to the city. One aspect that McCormick can be proud of is the Asians for Chicago 2016 Community Banner Project.
We had a huge number of people respond to the call for the banner project, and it was great for them to be able to represent themselves.
It was a time for people to come together, to work together, and kind of play together in in producing this artwork.
You know, Chicago is such a richly diverse city, and it's great for people to connect to their own culture, second generation, and express themselves creatively.
With the Olympics a mere 7 years away, a major youth movement now is important to back the bid as the young people of today will be the future of the 2016 Olympic Games. This is AC for The Slant.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we got the Olympics in Chicago?
I know I'd love me some Michael Phelps. If you guys want to help support the Asians for 2016 and get involved, you can learn more about it at www.asiansfor2016.org.
Clark Kent, Peter Parker, and Asian immigrants. What do these three things have in common? You have to check out the hot new graphic novel, Secret Identities. Let's welcome Natalie to the Slant fam. Take it away, Natalie.
Ever wondered why there weren't many Asian superheroes? That's exactly the question that writer Jeff Yang, actor Perry Shen, comic educator Keith Chow, and indie comic studio founder Jerry Ma asked. The four of them are the editors of Secret Identities, the first ever comic book anthology of Asian American superheroes. I got a chance to talk to Jeff, Keith, and Perry during a stop on their Midwest book tour.
The whole idea of the superhero genre, the whole archetype of the superhero, is such an American form of storytelling. So what better way to express Asian American history than through the lens of an American storytelling art form, like the superhero comic.
The book features 26 stories with 52 original heroes, created by 66 contributors, all telling different perspectives of the Asian American experience.
We realized that something really interesting was happening. We were getting a sort of flood of really just tremendous ideas. And these ideas were sort of starting to form patterns. People were talking about issues and kind of moments of history that resonated with what we ended up calling a shadow history of the United States. You know, a lot of the stories, again, that came in were set in times like the Japanese-American internment, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, later on the Vietnam War, the Korean War. They were set in and around times and issues that are relevant to Asian Americans. And that shadow history, you know, sort of the history of the United States, only kind of with more superheroes in it and more Asians.
So what's the biggest thing that you hope your readers get from reading this book?
At the very last page of the book is a referral to a teacher's guide that shows lesson plans for some of the stories that are based on real events. So at the end of the book, you know, they say, wow, what a great story, and they turn the last page and see, wow, this stuff was based on real events, and that they go research it on their own. That would be probably the most rewarding for me.
And what superpower would they really like to have?
I have always liked the Flash's powers, and the Flash can run really fast. And just because it's almost like being in two places at one time. We all have kids, and there's sometimes one kid has to be in school at this time, and then I need to be in LA for an audition. It'd just be nice to just drop them off, love you, bye, down to LA's 80 miles south, you know, in like 2 seconds. So that would be extremely helpful for me.
If you want in on the superhero action, be sure to pick up a copy of Secret Identities, available online and at your local book and comic book stores. This is Natalie Tadina for The Slant.
The graphic novel Secret Identities hits shelves April 15th and can be picked up at either Amazon.com or their own website, secretidentities.org. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go far because coming up, Joe Coy. See you in a few.